Hello, and thank you for listening to Alex Rogue and the Crystal Pendant. We are overjoyed with all of the responses on YouTube. We now have over 500 views in the first 2 weeks, chapters 1 and 2 combined. This week, you will hear Chapter 3, Attack of the Air. As always, mention us on any of your social media platforms with the hashtag AlexRogueBook. Alex Rogue is written by Ryan Russon and narrated by me, Jordan Levine. Enjoy. Chapter 3, Attack of the Air. "Alex, wake up! You have to get ready," my mom said, shaking me awake. "What?" I murmured, groggy as I opened my eyes. "Quick, you have to get ready for Ben's party." Ben's party! How could I forget? I had just seen him the day before. Jumping out of bed, I threw on some shorts and then fit a shirt over my head. I ran downstairs and quickly went into the kitchen, only to shove a bowl of cereal down my throat. My mom rushed down a moment later and hurried into the garage. I heard the roar of the engine start up, and I knew that was my cue to go. Quickly, I ran into the garage, finding the large door open, and I climbed into the car. My mom sped down the road, and a few minutes later, we turned into a parking spot at the park the party was at. Picking up my present, I opened the door to the car and climbed out. "Have fun, okay? I'll see you back here at 11, she said as I shut the door. "I will, don't worry." A few moments later, the car was gone. I set my present on the picnic table with all the other presents and looked around to see who had come. Most were in my grade at school. "Hey, Alex," said Daniel as he ran past. "Well, look who it is. Mr. Nerd himself," Allie scoffed, setting her present down on the table. I stood up straight and grinned. "At his finest." Allie rolled her eyes and walked off. Looking around for anyone else, I saw a few more familiar faces, and then them. There they were, terrorizing some other kid. The 3 bullies at my school: Asher, Bill, and Axel. Bill was the leader of the gang. The other 2 were pretty much his thugs. Even though they were all in the same grade as I was, they were the biggest and tallest of the grade. "So what you got there?" Bill asked the little girl, most likely only in 2nd or 3rd grade. She was cornered, a huge boulder behind her, and the 3 bullies in front. "Nothing," she whimpered, shrinking down. "Ah, look, the little baby's gonna cry," Asher teased. A tear ran down her pale cheek. Just then, Bill ripped the contents of the girl's pocket out and went through it. "Hey, that's for Ben," she declared, having the courage to speak up. "Not anymore. These $20 are mine now. And what are you gonna do about it? Hit me with a Barbie doll?" Bill laughed. The girl narrowed her eyes and raised her fists. Axel snorted with laughter. "You've got to be kidding me! This little 2nd grader thinks she can take on all 3 of us 5th graders?" "I'm in 3rd grade," she piped. "Apparently so," Bill grinned. "Boys, you know what to do." They nodded and stepped forward. Asher was the first to move, shoving the young girl to the ground. "Hey, leave her alone," I ordered. Bill turned around and looked at me. He didn't answer. "Let me guess. Too scared to pick on someone your own size?" "I've dealt with you hundreds of times. You really think I'm scared to take you on again?" he asked, chuckling to himself. "Let the girl go. We've got ourselves a more valuable target." The other 2 bullies released the girl, and she scampered away, hiding behind a tree. "So, the brave hero comes to save the day?" Bill asked. "I wouldn't say brave, but I would say quick," I answered. Just as he was about to answer, I punched him in the gut and snatched the money out of his hands. "Quick, huh?" he muttered, doubling over in pain. "Go, get out of here," I told the girl, handing her the money. She nodded and then ran out of sight. "Well, strength beats speed any day," Bill answered, thrusting a fist straight toward me. It felt like a block of stone smashed into my chest. especially when it's outnumbered. I felt 2 more punches hit me from the sides. "Is that so?" I said softly, forcing myself to rise. Slowly, I crossed my arms and extended my fingers towards Asher and Axel. It felt like someone else was controlling me. Suddenly, they were both thrown back as if a huge gust of wind had blown by. Slamming into the ground, the 2 stayed motionless, partly from shock and partly from pain. "Looks like I'm not outnumbered anymore," I finished, glancing at Bill. He was now the pale one, his face drained out of shock. Bringing my arms back, I shoved them forward, and Bill was blown back further than the other 2 bullies had been. "How?" Bill murmured, lying on the floor. He was dazed and out of it. I looked at my hands, and a million questions came to mind, but I could answer none of them. How I had done this, I wasn't sure. After we had pizza, cake, and participated in some other activities, the party ended, and everyone's parents started coming to pick them up. It was only 10:45, and my mom wouldn't be here for another 15 minutes. I had left my phone at home, so I couldn't tell her. "Hey," someone said, sitting down on the bench beside me. It was the girl. "Oh, hi," I replied. "I'm Eliza. Thanks for helping me," she said, smiling up at me. "You're welcome," I responded. "Don't worry, I don't think they'll be messing with anyone again," I told her, thinking about what I had done. "What did you do?" I looked at her. "Let's just say I taught them a lesson." She smiled at my comment. "Good." Suddenly, she looked up at the parking lot. "Oh, there's my mom. Thank you again. Bye," she said, standing up from the bench. "Bye," I answered as she climbed into her car. I watched as it pulled out of the parking lot and disappeared behind the hill. Opening my eyes, I stood up from the couch and stretched. As soon as I had gotten home from the party, I had gone back to sleep. Now, a few hours later, I had woken up. "Hey, Alex, your lunch is ready," said my mom, setting a plate of something steaming on the table. A moment later, she disappeared into my dad's office. I walked over to the table and grinned with delight when I saw that it was grilled cheese. Eagerly sitting down, I picked up the sandwich and took a bite out of it. Once I finished up, I brought my plate over to the sink, rinsed it off, and put it in the dishwasher. Outside the window above the kitchen sink, a familiar shape caught my eye as it emerged on the fence from behind a tree. Gazing outside, I saw the same translucent-looking cat staring at me. In its claws were 2 more of the dead snakes. How many snakes were there? And what were they doing here? As it approached the other side of the yard, a snake came into view right behind the cat. It opened its mouth, revealing razor-sharp teeth, and soon after bit down on the cat's tail. Jumping up in surprise, the cat dropped the other dead snakes and then slashed out, killing the live one. This only made the remaining snakes slither out from either side of the fence. The cat was trapped. Jumping being its only option, it landed on the hard dirt behind the fence and scampered onto the grass. The snakes followed by, slithering down the wall with their scaly bodies. As the cat reached the center of the yard, the snakes on the fence reached it, and more came out that had been hiding in the yard. The cat was once again surrounded. It was just like in the dream. The snakes slithered toward the cat and tried at every attempt they could to bite it. Many succeeded, as the cat could not hold all of them off at the same time. Blood started to ooze out from the cat's legs and back. The creature collapsed on the floor, and snakes slithered over, smothering it. Running outside, I grabbed a shovel from our tool shed and started to slam it down on the snakes on the outside. Some turned and started to attack me, but most remained focused on the cat. The snakes attacking me grew fewer in number, and now were lurching towards me instead of just trying to bite. Most I killed before they could leap, but one made it past and sailed into the air, baring its teeth. Bringing my shovel back, I hit it out of the air just before it reached me, and then finished the crowd off. Now it was time to save the cat. Taking them by surprise, I swung at least half of the snakes before they could do anything. Suddenly, one leapt up into the air, and I dropped the shovel, taken aback. Then, all of a sudden, it felt like I wasn't controlling myself again. My arm shot forward, and instantly the snake was blown back. The ones that were attacking me bolted away after seeing what I could do, and the ones covering the cat's body fled as well. Eventually, all of the remaining snakes retreated, and the dead ones littered the yard. Looking at the cat, I saw it looking back at me. Then, surprisingly, the animal bowed to me. I blinked, but nothing changed. Its head popped back up, and it started to drag the dead snakes away. It leapt onto the fence and turned to look at me one more time before going out of view. What had just happened? Putting the shovel back in the shed, I walked inside and sat down. There, I processed all the strange things that had happened. I thought for a few minutes. A weird species of snake that I had never seen before attacked a strange-looking cat and me. The cat was translucent, as if it was constantly blurry and partially see-through. It bowed to me after helping it fight the snakes. Bill and his friends get thrown back by wind that I created, and so did a snake. What's going on? I thought to myself.
Well, there you have it. Chapter 3, Attack of the Air. Thank you for joining us again this week for Chapter 3. Look out for Chapter 4 next week coming up. And as always, mention us on all of your favorite social media platforms. #AlexRogueBook.